Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 3, Lord's Incarnations, Chapter 3, verse number 6 and 7. Krishna is the source of all incarnations, verse number 6 and 7. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. So 136. Sayeva Pratamam Deva Kaumaram Sargam Astritaha Chachara Duscharam Brahma Brahmacharyam Akanditam. Sayeva Pratamam Deva Kaumaram Sargam Astritaha Chachara Duscharam Brahma Brahmacharyam Akanditam. Sayeva Pradamam Deva Kaumaram Sargam Astrita Chachara Duscharan Brahma Brahmacharyam Akanditam. Word to word. Sa, that, Eva, certainly, Pratamam, first, Deva, the Supreme Lord, Kaumaram, named the Kumaras, unmarried, Sargam, creation, Asrita, under, Chachara, performed, Duscharam, very difficult to do, Brahma, in the order of Brahman, Brahmacharyam, under the discipline to realize the absolute Brahman, Akanditam, unbroken. Translation by Juvange Sesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Vijay. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the four unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. Verse number 7. Ditiyam tum bhavayasya rasatalagatam mahim Uddarishyan Vupadatta Yagnesha Saukaram Vapuhu. Word to word. Dvitiyam, the second, two, but Bhavaya, for the welfare, Asya, for of this earth, Rasatala, of the lowest region, Gatam, having gone, Mahim, the earth, Uddarishyan, lifting, Upadatta, established, Yagnesha, the proprietor, or the supreme enjoyer, Saukaram, hoggish, Vapu, incarnation. Translation by Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Vijay. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. I'll try to understand. Om Jnanatimrandasya Gnananjansalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Grim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Denatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeswaram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami Mahamahotsav ki jai. Let me share that verse only and then think. stop the video. So that will help. Yeah. Okay. So here, this chapter is called Krishna is the source of all incarnations. So far, what we are seeing. So I thought it will be quick. Um, two verses will be able to quickly finish, but when I looked at the details, it's so much details are there. Even Gaurang Mahaprabhu's pastimes are there. So I couldn't find time to look at in Chaitanya Bhagavat, but at least we'll describe the details. May not be all the verses. We will try to see if we can cover in the next class. But anyway, so here these two verses are describing, starting with from today's verse number 6, all the way till 27. This is in the second section. This chapter titled Lord Krishna is the source of all incarnation has almost 5 sections, categorized in 5 sections. So in that there are first section is we described last few weeks before, 1 to 5, sometimes 1 to 4. Purusha avatars are being explained, and then the next section, starting from today, the sixth to all the way till 29, are giving 22 incarnations. There are innumerable incarnations. So many incarnations. There is no count. It is like water coming from waterfall, water rivulets coming from waterfall. There is no count. You cannot count those many. Just Manvantara, one category of incarnation itself is in one day of Brahma, 14 Manu. In the lifetime of Brahma, there are 500,000 plus just Manvantaras incarnation. Imagine how many. There are so many, 6 categories of incarnations. It's vast, but it's just high level. The main prominent 22 incarnations are being given in this particular section, 5 to 27 or 6 to 27. And 28 is the third section. Lord Krishna is the source of all the incarnations. He is the original personality of Godhead from whom everything. That is the third section. And then the fourth section is 29 to all the way to 39, where it is describing the uh, the gross and subtle forms of the living entity and the Virat Rupa are temporary, in nature. So that means they are not visible in the spiritual world. That is being described. And then last 40th to 44, last 5 verses or so, describing the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, describing how Srimad Bhagavatam appears as the incarnate Supreme Lord, non different from Supreme Lord, to deliver the conditioned souls in this age of Kali. So in this way, this chapter is divided into 5 categories, 5 sections. So we are in the second section. So and out of 6 questions asked by Saunaka and other rishis in Naimisharanya, we see what is ultimate good for the people in general, what is the essence of all the scriptures, why did Lord Krishna appear in the womb of Mother Devaki and Vasudeva, and then narrate the pastimes of the Supreme Lila avatars, and then Purusha avatars in relation to the Lord's creation. Somebody's talking. Okay. So then the fifth one is Purusha Avatar, and then the sixth one is when the Lord Krishna left the planet, where did all the religion go? These are the 6 questions. Now the second chapter is addressing divinity and divine service. Chapter is addressing the answering the immediately 4 questions out of them. First, second, third, and 5. 1, 2, 3, and 5 are being answered right there immediately. And then in this chapter, addressing the 4th question, especially the Lila avatars, incarnations of the Supreme Lord, at least in brief. Obviously, all 6 questions are addressed only in brief, second, third, fourth, fifth, or so. But in the great detail, the full, we need to read the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. Just to address those 6 questions, whole Srimad Bhagavatam has been given in full, so thoroughly to understand. But in brief, immediate chapters description. So the 4th question of Lila avatars, and then the 6th question, where did all the religion take in shelter? after Lord Krishna left the planet. That is being addressed in the last section, as I was describing earlier, 40 to 44, especially 43rd verse. 1343 verse is the very important verse everybody should know. So that way, so these are the 6 questions asked in this way. And the 5th question is also touched Purushavataras, even though it is already addressed in the previous chapter, Divinity and Divine Service chapter, last section or one section before that. But still, it has been touched upon again in the beginning, because it was concluded in the previous chapter. So begin, because incarnation we are talking, so that they are also prominent incarnation in terms of the creation. So that's how, and that too, not only that, all the incarnations, they are the plenary portions of Supreme Lord, different types. Some are Saktyavisha, some are Vishnu Tattva. We are going to describe that. So in that category, Purusha, especially all these incarnations, even though they are Vishnu Tattvas, some are Jiva Tattvas, all incarnations, sometimes Lord Krishna himself, they are coming through Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, who is the second out of 3 Purusha avatars. First one is Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, who is lying in Karana Ocean, causal ocean, Viraja river, Vaitarini, different names are there, same thing. And then second is Bodhaka Sai Vishnu, who is within each and every universe. Half of the universe is filled with water and he is lying down at the bottom of the universe. That is Garbhodaka ocean. Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, that is second Mahavishnu. And then the third one is called Kshirodaka, who is Paramatma, who is there in each and every universe. Kshirasagara, that is like a Vaikuntha. He is called Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. He is also called Paramatma, is there in each and every living entity, not only human being, but every living entity, every living form. So in this way, but all the incarnations are coming through this Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So since that has to be explained, that is detailed already in the purport and translation in the, I think, 3rd verse or 4th verse or 5th. Those 2-3 verses. That's why those are again the 5th question is being repeated again. Answer been repeated in this chapter also. So in this way, we can understand how what is the connection between the 1st, 2nd, 3rd chapter. What exactly is being explained. Now going in detail, first incarnation is given what, and so we'll understand who these personalities are, these incarnations, and what is their position, and what is the some of them, especially what is the significance, significant instructions what they're teaching, and then what is the relevance, what is their similar pastimes in Gaur Lila. Both are there. Yeah, both are there. Means one will be less known, means we don't know any past because they are appeared as devotees. So the other one is Vishnu Tattva. So now first one we're describing here today is 4 Kumaras. Here in this verse number 6 being explained. If we go before verse. स एव प्रथमं देव कौमारं सर्गम् आश्रित चचार दुश्चरं ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम्. So the 4 Kumaras, first incarnation as 4 Kumaras appeared. So 4 Kumaras, what is their category? Their category, Sri Prabhupada written a letter to His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj in 1968, I think. In that, Maharaj is asking, and then Prabhupada explained that out of all these 22, then Prabhupada was giving the category of Jiva Tattva / Saktya Vesya Avatar, that means empowered incarnations. Out of that, the 4 Kumaras are in that category of empowered incarnations, Saktya Vesya Avatar, empowered incarnations, but they are under the category of Jiva Tattva. So this is the first incarnation what we are reading today. So 4 Kumaras. They are also called as Chatusana. Chatu means 4, Sana means sons, 4 sons of Lord Brahma. Chatusana. They are also called one of the 12 Mahajanas. There are 12 Mahajanas starting with Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, 4 Kumaras, Narada, Lord Shiva, then 4 Kumaras, Kapila, Vyasaki, Sukadeva Goswami, Swayambhu Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, Yamaraj. So in this way, there are 12 personalities. So 12 personalities. So out of them, one of them, 4 Kumaras are also. Out of the 12 personalities, 5 of them are Brahmachara, Bhishma Pitama, Narada, Bhishma, Kapila, 4 Kumaras, forgetting one. Narada, Bhishma, Kapila, 4 Kumaras, and Sukadeva Goswami. These 5 personalities never married. They are kind of nice thing brahmacharis can say. So all rest of the seven of them are grihasthas, like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Prahlad Maharaj. Hmm. And then that's why we see descendants of Prahlad Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is coming in that same dynasty. Prahlad Maharaj, you see Swayambhu Manu, Yamaraj. So all of them are in the Grihastha category. Five of them are Brahmachari category. 12 of them are Mahajanas. So they are teaching by their own example. Mahajanasya yena gatasya panta. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya. Mahajanasya yena gatasya panta. We want to understand the absolute truth, one must follow these 12 Mahajanas. They lead by their example. And so Prabhupada quotes again and again in so many places. So Chatusana, four Kumaras, the one of the 12 Mahajanas, and also um, they are called Shanta Bhaktas. They are called Shanta Bhaktas. In what rasa they are in? They are in neutrality. Initially, they are in Brahmavadis. They are impersonalists. Impersonalist. As soon as they are born, another significance is also there. They are always 4 or 5 years old only. They are always naked. They are always stay as babies only, in that form, in that age only, always, because that's what they wanted. They never wanted to grow. They never wanted to be illusioned, covered under three modes of material nature. They never wanted to be overpowered, want to be conditioned. That's why they rejected the idea of Lord Brahma, that to create progeny. No, no, we want to be liberated. We don't want to do anything with the material world. That was the state of consciousness they are in. That's why they're unadulterated. If they are teaching how to control the senses, they are teaching by their own example. So, and that's why they are Galchanda. So initially they were the impersonalists. There is a difference, slight difference between impersonalists, Brahmavadis who want to merge into Brahman effulgence, and the difference between Mayavadis. Mayavadis is the impersonalist philosophy is merging into Brahman effulgence. Brahman effulgence is the highest. That is the topmost. Everything is coming from there. Lord doesn't have a form. Brahma is the form. This Brahman effulgence is the form. Nirakar, Nirguna. But rather, that is not the case. That is the first level of understanding. Discussed many times. That itself is another topic. But that is the but the Mayavad theory is everybody is in Maya right now. Even though they take sannyas, they think we are currently conditioned. But as soon as we become pure, then we become God. Even the forms, whatever they see in the temple, they don't come. First of all, many of them, they don't come to the temple. Even if they come, they have that view. They don't accept. They think that is Maya. Lord also having this Maya, means this material body. So that's what they think. So right now conditioned. So that's how they think. That's why that is the Mayavad conception. So that is the Mayavad philosophy. But the Brahmavadis, they don't think like that. They just think that the Brahman effulgence is everything. That is the topmost. That's how they think. So and that is a slight difference. So that's why it is a more dangerous is Mayavad philosophy than the Brahmavadis. So that is a slight difference. So these four Kumaras, as soon as they are born, even Sukadeva Goswami was the Brahmavadis. Then as they were born from Lord Brahma, then after some time, then they came to Vaikuntha Dwara. Then there are seven doors. That also there was one letter, I think, written to Srila Prabhupada by, I think, Muralidhar Prabhu or some other devotee, written there. I think Jadurani Mataji. Prabhupada is explaining, yes, there are seven gates. After seven gates, the Lord Vaikunteswara, Lord Vishnu is lying there, is there. That is his residence. Seven gates, and doorkeepers are there for seven gates. Each and every gate there is a different names. I don't remember all of them. Jaya Vijaya. Then you have many other names. I forget. It is there in the picture. What we have, the whole Brahmanda picture. In that, the names are given. So, and then each and every gate, there are different walls and then gardens and so many other things are there. Prabhupada was telling you have to paint in that way. Prabhupada is explaining how to paint this whole pastime of Jay Vijaya, and then When they came there, then Jaya Vijaya became jealous, and then they obstructed. Because they don't want anything in the in the Vaikuntha. There is nothing. But in this is a direct first level of one level of understanding. The acharyas also gives different another. From Vaishnavism there is a Vaishnava acharyas gives another understanding also. Then Jaya Vijaya stopped, obstructed them to not to enter these four Kumaras. Then immediately, then they cursed. These four Kumaras cursed. You don't belong here. You are obstructing somebody to be connected with the Supreme Lord. Then this is jealous. You don't belong here. You should be in the material world. You are cursed. Then they have been cursed to go to material world. Then by hearing this conversation, then Lord Vishnu comes there, and then he pacifies them, and then by seeing, by immediately as soon as the Lord walks in, then immediately he smells. That is second instruction they are giving. By smelling the Lord, the tulsi leaves, tulsi manjaris. In few places it has been explained. One must offer fresh tulsi leaves, manjaris. Manjaris means the seeds come, we have to cut every day. If manjaris come, because then plant cannot grow. So you have to, so now very softly catching that stem, you have to pluck it with that chanting the mantra if possible. If not, at least by offering obeisances, then you pluck the tulsi leaf with that fresh manjari. One must offer. Not only that, the saffron is also even much more better. That is also quoted in one of the Purana. I heard from my Guru Maharaj also last year. So that is even better, more better. So saffron, you do the fresh gandha, rub it, produce the fresh gandha, and then saffron you can also grind it. You can put on the top, and then we generally don't do with water. We get rose water and we spray it when we do the gandha. Then that's where nice smell, nice color, everything. And then tulsi leaves and with manjari is being put on that, and then that is kept on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So in that way it was offered, and then they touched, that smell touched the nostrils of the four Kumaras. Finished. Their Brahmavadi, their impersonal understanding, that knowledge, the conception, everything is destroyed. There, Prabhupada explains in many places in Srimad Bhagavatam, quoting this nectar devotion, Chaitanya Charitamrita, in so many places. Let me see if I have that verse. Uh, oops. Yeah, okay. You are able to see?
Yes, Prabhuji.
You are able to see the Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Madhya Lila, chapter number 17, 142. Where it is explained, Tasya Aravinda Nayanasya Padaravinda Kinjalka Mishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Anta Gata Swa Vivarena Chakara Tesham Sankshobham Akshara Jusham Apichitta Tanvo. Where it has been explained, when the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves and saffron from the lotus feet of the lotus eyed personality of God entered through the nostrils into the hearts of those sages, the Kumaras, they experienced a change in both body and mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal understanding. Anyway, so this is the one of the aspect of it. We are trying to. Where did that go? That whole Zoom thing went off. Okay. So the four Kumaras, Chatusthana, they are also called, they are Brahmavadis, became initially. They are also, as I mentioned, Shanta Bhakta. Yeah. As soon as they are touched, these impersonalist Brahmavadis, anyone who comes in touch with pure devotees, Prabhupada explains, touch with pure devotees or with the Supreme Lord, especially smelling the lotus, smelling the flowers of the Supreme, not only tulsi leaves, here specifically tulsi leaves and manjaris, immediately they became devotees and immediately they are being transformed into Shanta Bhakta, neutrality. Another example of Shanta Bhakta is also Nava Yogendras, nine sons of Lord Rishabhadev. Out of 100 sons, one of them became Bharat Maharaj, who ruled India. That's a Bharat Desh, that's how it came. So there are three Bharats, so that is one of the Bharat is Rishabhadev's son. Lord Rishabhadev is Vishnu Tattva. Kumaras is Jiva Tattva, Shaktya Avatar, empowered incarnation, and they also enunciated after this incident. After this, and the second way to look at Vaishnavacharya is explaining this incident. Jay Vijaya themselves, Lord Vishnu has a thought. He wants to fight in Vaikuntha, where you will fight, because that is, there is no enemy there to fight. But Lord has a desire. Then, because of that Lord's desire, then Jay Vijaya was thinking in their minds, oh, then if Lord wants to fight, how they will do, and this way they were discussing immediately because of that Lord's desire. This incident, then this incident happened after they were thinking and discussing in this way. I heard from I think Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj last year or so. So then, in one of the Purana, some other place, this is mentioned by some other acharyas. So then, based on that desire of the Lord, and then they were discussing on conversation, and then they obstructed. Then this has happened. But initially, it was the Lord's desire. He wants to desire to fight. Then obviously, it cannot happen in Vaikuntha. So it happened, especially, not just a small mock fight, a real fight. So that's why then the Jaya Vijaya being cursed, then Lord has given the choice. You want 3 births or 7 births? Enemy is 3 births, friend has a 1 birth. So then they want to come back quickly. So then they chose 3 births. So then they came back to the material world. As first one is Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, that is the first one. Second one is Ravana Kumbhakarna, then Shinsupala Dantavakra, third. And then the grace period is given as they also appeared as Jagai and Madai in Gaur Lila. This is that Jay Vijay. That is another pastime. That itself is another discussion. But so now coming back to 4 Kumaras. So that's how they became Shanta Bhaktas. Chatusthana, Mahajana. In this way, we are explaining. They're always only 4 to 5 years old only. They're always like child. They don't wear clothes because they're babies. So they want to be always very, and they're also teaching. They're always hearing. They're always hearing from who? They are always hearing from Lord Anantadev. Lord Anantadev. Let me see. I hope I kept that. There is one verse. There is another verse also. Let me see. No, no, not this one. Probably I didn't share. I didn't kept it. Okay. Anyways, so the one place where this 4 Kumaras, yeah, one pastime. Let me, since I already saw. So in one place it is explained that the Lord, these 4 Kumaras even bewildered when Lord Krishna plays flute. Even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, 4 Kumaras, everybody. This is in Gopi Geet, 10th canto, 35th chapter, 14th to 15. Beautiful point you're making. Translation. O pious mother Yashoda, your son, who is expert in all the arts of herding cows, has invented many new styles of flute playing. When he takes his flute to his bimba red lips, send forth the tones of harmonic scale in variegated melodies. Brahma, Shiva, Indra, and other chief demigods become confused upon hearing the sound. Although they are the most learned authorities, they cannot ascertain the essence of that music. Thus, they bow down to their heads and hearts. Here, been mentioned. See that Viswanath Chakra Thakur is quoting. Chakra, Lord Indra, Upendra, Agni, and Yamaraj. Among those led by Sarva, Lord Shiva were Katyayani, Skanda, Ganesha, and among those led by Parameshti, Lord Brahma were four Kumaras, Narada. Thus, the best collective intelligence in the universe could not definitively analyze the enchanting musical arrangement of the Supreme Lord. Who's talking to who? Gopis are talking to Yashoda Mai. Is talking to pious mother Yashoda. They are describing the beauty of the Lord Krishna in this way. Vividha Gopa Charaneshu Vidagdo Venu Vadya Vurudha Nija Siksha Tava Sutta Sati Yada Adara Bimbe Datta Venur Anayat Swarajati Savanasastat Upadarya Suresha Sakra Sarva Parameshti Puroga Kavaya Anata Kandara Chitta Kasmalam Yayur Anishchita Tattva. Nobody can understand. Imagine the same flute Lord has given the Gayatri mantra and all the knowledge has been given in the heart of Lord Brahma by just playing the flute. So Lord can do so many things just by playing. There is wonderful pastime. The whole chapter itself is there in Gaur Lila. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's and the flute on the flute aspect also. Anyway, this is the one aspect also. As I explaining also, the four Kumaras are always hearing from Lord Anantadev. Lord Anantadev continuously speaking. So that is also, that's why the four Kumaras started Bhagavata Vidhi. There is a Pancharatriki Vidhi, there is a Bhagavata Vidhi. So they enunciated, means they didn't start, but they took upon themselves. They went on to preach. The Bhagavad Vidhi means hearing and chanting. That we are coming to that point. What are the instructions for Kumara's teaching? So we are still in the beginning. What time is it? 7:36 already. The four Kumaras teaching by their own example how to be more deepening our heart, deepening our relationship by Sravanam and Kirtan. This is called Bhagavata Vidhi. There is the two margas. Pancharatrika Vidhi, the two Vidhis. Pancharatrika Vidhi means more in the Archana process, while worshipping the deity, initiation, fire sacrifice, all these are coming under Pancharatrika Vidhi. You have to follow rules and are very strict. But, and that's why you will see in ISKCON and other temples, Ramana Sampradaya or other Sampradaya temples, and us, because we are more focused on Bhagavat Vidhi. So, coming from Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, Lord Brahma, especially Madhavendra Puri onwards, it's even more in the loving relationship with the Supreme Lord and devotees. So the awe and reverence is much less. Initially, yes, we do have. That's how worship must be done and all everything. But more Bhagavat Vidhi, hearing and chanting and remembering that way. But less to do with the too much rules and regulations. Means later on. That's why you see fasting Ekadasi means in general Ekadasi full fasting, not even water. In ISKCON, Prabhupada never stressed, never even mentioned. He himself, I think probably maybe Janmashtami he did, I think. But other days, most of the times, even the festival fasting, sometimes even like Nityananda is fasting till noon, which is coming up February 14th. Nityananda is February 7th. Monday is Lord Advaita Acharya Appearance Day. Next prominent important festivals coming up. March, I think first or second, first only, I think Shivratri is coming up. March something, third week or so, I think 21st or 20th is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Gaur Purnima is coming up. Please note down and plan from now itself so that we can remember and we can plan something and do something. So read something, hear something, do some service, serve devotees, serve Lord, all these ways we have to think and plan ahead of the time. So then we will be able to do something. Anyway, four Kumaras are teaching by their own example how to do Bhagavat Vidhi. Sravanam and Kirtanam are less to do with the rules and regulations. That's why fasting or other too many, not too much. We follow, but it's not too much stringent. But in other temples, in other sampradaya, it's very stringent in some of these places because rules and regulations. The Archana Vidhi, somebody who's more on focused on Pancharatrik Vidhi, Archana, they are very much, when they see us worship means yes, when we do the deity installation and all, we are also we follow in that same way. Satkriya Saradipika of Gopala Bhatta Goswami. Coming to that point, very good that Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami Prabhupada is helping me. So he is giving me that intelligence now. So since we are on that topic, Satkriya Saradipika is one of the book Gopala Bhatta Goswami has written. which is giving all the detail how to perform puja, how to worship the deity, how to perform yajna, everything end to end. What mantras to chant, what is the procedure, everything, achma, everything, all those details. That's what we follow in ISKCON for every sacrifice, every puja, installation, everything. Satkriya Saradeep, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And as he went to one time, so after the especially after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world, then he lived 47 years or so. He was the 47th branch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and he lived I think 45 years or 46 years or so. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Prabhupada. And then after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, because it was much later when he went to South India tour. That time Mahaprabhu must be, because 24th year he took sannyas, so probably South India tour probably might have happened after a year or 2 years or so, because the middle 6 years is called Madhya Lila. Adi Lila is up to first to 24 years. Madhya Lila is 24 to 30 years. The 6 years in Jagannath Puri traveling and all that is Madhya Lila. And then the last 18 years is Antalila. That's how the Chaitanya Charitamrita, three parts of Mahaprabhu's Leela has been divided. So that the middle 6 chapters are the Madhya Leela, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to South India too. Probably might be 24 plus 2 or 3 or something like that, 26, 27 years. And then just Gopal Bhatta Goswami at that age, I think 1503 or 1500, around that time he was born. So probably he is 8 to 10 years old. That's what Acharyas are explaining. 8 to 10 years old. So that's why when Mahaprabhu left, he was in so much in deep separation. After 8 years or so, when Mahaprabhu left, he came to the pinnacle of separation. Then he couldn't tolerate anymore. Then he was completely devastated. Then he came to he came to this Gandaki river in Nepal, and then he found these Shaligram Silas, 12 of them. Then he didn't want it. He put them back again. Again it came back again. 3 times it happened. Then he took finally in a cloth, and then he tied it to his neck, and then he was carrying everywhere. And then when he came back, then because Mahaprabhu left, and there was deep separation, and then he was worshipping them, and all he was doing. Then one day, one of the great merchant, great wealthy person gave a jewelry and a nice cloth, and then he said, "No, no, take it." But Gopal, what will I do? I don't even know. They are Saligram. They don't even have a like they are not in a day Archa Vigraha form to dress and do all this. Where will I put all this jewelry? They are in round shape. They are not in a in that shape. And then no, you can take it back. I'll give it to others. But then he insisted. Then he was very seriously, sincerely, very praying, not seriously, sincerely, crying, piteously crying in front of the Lord to the Shaligram Shilas. Then one of the Shaligram is Damodar Shila. Then when he went to take bath in Yamuna and then came back, then that Damodar Shila transformed into Sri Radha Raman deity, which is the face, looks like Radha Gopinath, Sri Radha Govinda Dev, Radha Raman deity's face, lotus face, and the lotus chest. The chest looks like Sri Radha Gopinath. Radha Gopinath chest is broader, very beautiful. And then the feet, lotus feet, is Sri Radha Madan Mohan. In this way, all three forms are transformed into one deity. So are appear in this Sri Radha Raman. So then he called Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami heard, and then they named in this way Sri Radha Raman. So then, so in this way, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, because of the intense separation, he was crying piteously. That's why Lord in Zan. That's why that is the instruction we are getting is unless we intensely pray day after day, week after week, it requires some intensity. Then Lord can, because out of affection only, as I mentioned in the previous class also, by ardent reverence, there is no obligation for Lord to give mercy. But by the affection, by our love, by deep prayers, in that way, then Lord can give us mercy. He is obligated to give mercy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explained to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Sarup Damodar Goswami. Yeah, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, huh? How come Vidra was a Sudra? How come Lord Krishna accepted food from him? Then he said, yes. Because out of love and affection, anybody offers, it doesn't matter what caste he is from, what birth is from, doesn't matter. Anybody, Lord will accept right away. Like Lord Jagannath accept was used to run away, run to one place where one of the Mataji used to make khichdi in the morning without even brushing the teeth. Lord Jagannath used to run because out of love she was doing, and then Lord Jagannath, so many pastimes like this, different deities and with different devotees. Radha Raman deity also in that way worshipped. Radharani was not there though. Just then Lord Krishna transformed in this Damodar, transformed to Radha Ramanji, Radha Raman deity. So then the Srimad Radha, but they do have a, I think, a picture, or they have a small form. So they worship. They always worship in that way. In the mood, in that mood, as a Srimad Radharani, because through her only we can serve Krishna. So in that way they worship. But the Saligram Shalla, there was no Radharani deity didn't appear. It was only Lord Krishna transformed into Sri Radha Raman. And so, in this way, we can understand how Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami is teaching us by his own example, that how to intensify our prayers, worship the deity with love and affection, more than awe and reverence. Yes, initially we must have that awe and reverence, but gradually, by gradual progress, day after day, by touching the deity, massaging the deity, all this. Because when you have Shaligram Sila, you are supposed to massage. In general, deity, if you have, you are supposed to massage. If you have Lord Jagannath deities, you can do, but if it is small, it's a little difficult. Means not legs and all. Hands you can nicely massage, but if it's small, little bit difficult. If they are big, like in our temple, you can massage, but don't tell others. Okay, so otherwise, yeah, that's another contention. Because then something may happen is that. But Lord is there to receive massage. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching. Govinda is always massaging lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, servant, disciple of Ishwara Puri, God brother. But Ishwara Puri instructed, the spiritual master instructed Govinda, go after my disappearance, you go and serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sarvamre, how can I accept service from my own God brother? This is not acceptable. Then this is the offense. Then Sarvamata, if Guru orders, then doesn't matter. Whatever he is ordering, you must do. There is no, that takes precedence on top of everything else. Then Chaitanya, yes, you are correct. Then he took it, Govinda and Kashishwar Mishra, both of them served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as like that personal servant, especially Govinda is a personal servant, always massaging, always taking care of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's needs. Anyway, this is the Bhagavad Vidya, means this is the personal relationship we must develop with hearing and chanting and remembering. Very much affection must be there. That is the idea. That is the thought process. Here, four Kumaras in that same way, they started their own sampradaya preaching mission of, because that's why they didn't take up progeny creation and all. They stayed as Naistik Brahmachari as small kids, and they started hearing. The Sampradaya also started, I think, in one of the play, Canto 4 or Canto 5, it is describing where Lord Anantadev was speaking to uh, Sankhyayan Muni, and then from Sankhyayan Muni, or four Kumaras first, and then I think Sankhyayan Muni first, and then from Sankhyayan Muni, then I think what's the Parasar Muni, and then four Kumaras, something like that. That there is a lineage. Then that's how. Then anyway, either way, four Kumaras started their own Sampradaya. Kumara Sampradaya is also called Nimbarka Sampradaya. Vishnu Swami is the prominent personality in that. No, Vishnu Swami. Maybe not. I think Nimbarka Swami. Vishnu Swami is in the Lord Rudra Sampradaya. That is Vallabhacharya. But here, Nimbarka Acharya is in that line of Kumara Sampradaya, four Kumaras. They also worship Radha and Krishna deity. So that is also same way. Since this is Bhagavad Vidya, so that is what another instruction. Four Kumaras also appeared in Gaur Lila as four personalities. They are called, I think, Lokanath, Ramnath, then two other personalities. I forget. Four personalities. They also appeared. Four Kumaras. Most of the personalities appeared, like Lord Brahma as Brahma Haridas, like this. Narada Muni as Srivas Thakur. In this way, most of the personalities appear in the Gaur Lila as well. So these even including four Kumaras also want to be in the pastimes of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they also appeared as these four, Lokanath and yeah, Ramnath and the other two, just like Sanaka, Sanat Kumara, Sanandana, Sanatana. These are the four Kumaras. In some places, it is mentioned that Sanatana Goswami is the incarnation of one of the Manjari, but also they also in some places it says this Sanatana. This four Kumara, one of them is Sanatana. So that incarnation also in some places it is explained. Either way, so it can still be considered in that way also. So in this way, four Kumaras are teaching by their own example in this, where they appeared also in Gaur Leela. And then the instruction, we see that these four Kumaras are instructing to Prudu Maharaj. Beautiful instructions they are giving to Prudu Maharaj. They came to Prudu Maharaj, then Prudu Maharaj served nicely, and then Prudu Maharaj, four Kumaras started instructing them that first thing one must do is one must be in the association of devotees. Here, so here from the association of devotees, and nice examples are also given. Let me see. Uh, let's see. Okay. Explaining the four Kumaras. That explain the, yeah, this one. This is in the yeah, 4 chapter 22. Quickly we'll run through it, and then we have to go to Varaha Dev's Boar Incarnation, second verse number 7. Both speaker and audience will be benefited by discussing Lord's pastimes, questioning questions and answers, materially and spiritually. Everyone will get benefit. That is the first instruction they are giving. Whether they are karmis, gnani, whatever the state of consciousness they have, everyone will be benefited. He is glorifying Prutu Maharaj, how he told all the citizens to follow this process of hearing and chanting and discussing and then asking questions, taking questions, including myself. They said even myself also, for Kumara, we also get benefited by just discussing and hearing about this, about the Supreme Lord's pastime. That is the first instruction they are giving. Then materially and spiritually, one will be liberated. At least they will get human birth. If somebody is just starting, if he is in touch, then he will be liberated. In another place, as I was mentioning, somebody who smells the garlands of the leaves, the flowers of the Supreme Lord, then his sinful activities will be removed. So that is also, that's why it's very important to come to temple and take darshan, smell the incense and the flowers offered, and take the targya water on top of the head. All these are, that's why it's prescribed, because Devalaya means to place to liberate, remove our sinful act, purify us. Second instruction they are giving, by association with the devotees, dirty things within the heart of the materialistic man are gradually washed away by the grace of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The example is given as silver. Generally, as you polish silver, as I do regularly in temple. So the silver we offer in silver glasses, silver bowls, we have to wash regularly. Even the arti plates, brass also. They immediately, if you don't, even every day we have to do twice, morning, evening. Otherwise, it becomes dirty. So it becomes, even brass is even more than even silver. So we have to regularly polish. So that way, that means we have to regularly do this cleansing process of hearing and chanting and in the association of devotees. That's why Prabhupada is giving that example. Asti eva rajan bhavato madhu dvishaha. Padara vindasya gudanu the Padara Vindas, the lotus feet of Supreme, and hearing is glorious. Ratir durapa vidunodi naistigi. Otherwise, it is very difficult to give up any other unlimited things we may have attachment to. We will never be able to durapa, very difficult. But as soon as one starts this process of hearing, then it will automatically kamam kashayam malam. Even though so much dirty things are there, antar atmanaha, everything will be just like as you are polishing, it will shine up like that. Every day, if you do, more it will shine up. So that's what, that is second instruction. And then the third instruction, the attachment for the Supreme Lord can be increased by practicing devotion service, inquiring about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, applying Bhakti Yoga in life, worshipping the Yogeswara, the Supreme Person, and by hearing and chanting. So, hearing and chanting, that is chanting the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and then also hearing the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Nectar devotion like this, also. Reading and hearing. Then also worshipping. That is deity worship. You can have pictures. If you cannot have deity, that's fine initially. At some time when you are able to do, then you can get the deities, small deities, not Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna means you must come to that. You have to take guidance, not just get it, because it's not a good practice in that way. We must take guidance before we get Radha and Krishna deities. And that is being explained here. And one must inquire. So that means here, and then one must inquire from the spiritual master and advanced devotees, sadhus, sages, about the bhakti yoga, how to apply in their life, gradually increase that application aspect. And then fourth thing they are explaining is, one must, if you want, one wants to be peaceful in their life permanently, then one must drink this. That means not just hearing, it must drink. When you are drinking, it will go inside. Like if you are drinking milk or water, whatever it is, you are drinking juice, then it will go inside. When it touches your tongue itself is tasty, and then it goes inside, then you will be nourished and will happy. Oh, very nice. Same way. So unless one must drink, paritosha atmani vina harer guna piyosha panat. One cannot live in peace without drinking the nectar of Lord's guna. That means it must hear. That hearing must go through the ear holes, and it has to enter into the heart, touch the heart. So where Rupa Goswami is giving that one verse, where Sarvendriyanam Krudam. So I forget the verse. Rupa Goswami gives all his ears, and I want 1,000 mouths, I want 1,000 ears. As when it touches the whole mind, every part of his body becomes overwhelmed with ecstasy. As soon as he hears with holy name, he was describing, he was writing in Lalita Madhav and Vedanta Madhav. Is Sarvabhauma, no, Swarup, Ramananda Raya was asking, what did you write? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him that Rupa Goswami written beautiful composition. Then Ramananda is asking, what did you write in here? What did you write? So there he was explaining, glorifying about the holy names, power. So in that verse, beautiful verse is there. One must remember that. And then the fifth instruction, a candidate for spiritual advancement must be non-violent. Qualifications. Till now the instructions are given what to do, but here the qualifications are being given. Must be non-violent. Means non-violent means no killing anyone, neither animal, nothing, as much as possible. Then they may question, you are killing vegetables. Yes, that also in general, being vegetarian also sinful activity, in one sense. That's why we must offer to the Lord. Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, Krishna is telling that karma, what is it? I forget the verse already. 3.9, 3.11, both. Karmano anyat lokoyam karman tadabdam kaunte mukta sangha samachara. There is another verse similarly, that one must offer. If not, it is a sinful activity. 3.11, I think. 9 and 11. 9 is often karma activities, and then the other one is food itself, directly mentioned. Kilbishai. So that is what non-violent means, not killing anyone. So must follow in the footsteps of great acharyas, sadhu margam. Must always remember the nectarian Pastimes Supreme Person. Must follow the regulative principles without material desires. It's a gradual process. Initially, we may have desires. That's fine. Then, while following the regulative principles, should not blaspheme others. This is also a very important point. A devotee should lead a very simple life, not be disturbed by duality of opposing elements. He should learn to tolerate them. Duality is always there, and that means because happiness, just like we are in the winter season, it is so cold. What can be done? We have to tolerate it. Otherwise, we will not be able to even wake up early and chant. You cannot come to temple, it's too cold. I'll go some other day when the weather is good. So all that will, because that's how mind will act, that's how our senses will act. But we have to tolerate. So that's what is instructing. Very simple life. That means don't complicate. Simplify your life with your acquisition, with your everything, whatever thought process. Mind to otherwise mind itself is absorbed with so many things. If you don't simplify it, then it will keep on bringing so many thoughts, so much planning, so many things will go on in so many different directions. So we don't have enough time to. That's why if you simplify it, then it will cut down so many things. So that's what he's telling, and then giving the examples. So what will happen? Just like it will, the fire. This devotion service is compared with fire. It will burn up. Generally, when you give up this body, enter into spiritual, there are 7 layers. The material universe is covered with 7 layers: the air, fire, water, ether. These 5 elements. So what it means, there it is given 5 kinds of attachment is been cut through this fire. Starting with ignorance, false ego, attachment to the material world, envy, and absorption in material con. These 5 elements will be completely burned up by the devotion service. And then another example is also given, that as soon as the living entity engages in devotion service gradually, then his consciousness will be completely purified. Just like initially it may be like the, we are seeing ourselves in the water or oil, or in ice. Water means always moving, ice is fixed, and then oil means hazy. So all this consciousness means, we are not seeing the supreme lord everywhere, because we are not at the highest level of Uttama Adhikari. We are in the beginning level, so that's why we are seeing different things. So this person is that person is that, this is that. So we are differentiating, we are seeing the duality, and we are seeing sometimes it's too hazy. We can't see things properly. It's too much, mind is reeling like anything, moving in so many different thoughts are coming. So and sometimes it is good, sometimes we are in mode of goodness, sometimes passion, sometimes ignorance completely, depending on the day of the time, and depending on which what is going through in our life. So that is what. But one who is engaged in devotion, gradually all these conscious conceptions will be burned out and completely come to the fixed up stage. So where you will see everywhere the Supreme Lord's hand. And then last example is been given is like one must remove all the anarthas, unwanted things. The example is like a big lake is there, and so on the bank there are big bamboos. So many things are growing. Then it will dry up all the water. So more you grow anarthas, more we don't detect and remove it in timely fashion, then all these material desires, big columns of material desire increase, and clear water of consciousness will be dried up. So that's why this must be cut down. Another example is also been given is crossing the ocean filled with sharks and timingla. Yeah, so this is the another example has been also given. The sharks are nothing but sharks and timingla in ocean. Unless you have proper boat, proper captain, this ocean, this material world living in samsara is a great ocean compared with ocean, Bhavasagara. And then you need to have proper boat, and these are compared with sharks, and timingla is compared with unwanted desires, compared with different obstacles we get. And then the different attractions we have, depending on, each individual is different. So the also the opposite attraction, male with female, female with male, all these different people have different attractions. All these are considered as some are small sharks, some are big sharks, and timingla whales. These are compared in that way. All these are obstacles on the path. But if you are in a proper boat, big ship, and controlled by proper captain, then we will be able to cross over. Otherwise, it's very difficult. We will not be able to cross over. Especially, it takes a long journey, tedious journey. So that's why we need that particular guidance. So this is all with the 4 Kumaras. Already 803. I have to quickly complete it. So Varahadev, maybe we'll start with Gaur Lila here. So Lord Varahadev, the seventh verse is describing about Lord Lord. Now in the Vishnu Tattva, the four Kumaras are in Jiva Tattva. They are called Sektya Vesya Avatar, empowered incarnation. Chatusam, various things we have described. Now coming back to this verse, it has been described here. Boar incarnation are also called. This is not ordinary boar, like a like a hog we see. But this is the like a wild animal, because you don't see tusks properly, especially in the regular hog. These are like a wild. A wild hog or wild pig in the forest. They will have. So that's how it will have. The boar is also called Varaha Dev, Lord Varaha Dev appearance. I don't remember. I think probably it will come in April or May. I forget what month. So there, so here Lord Varaha Dev is Vishnu Tattva, Lord Vishnu. So each incarnation has a specific purpose. So here Lord Varahadev appeared 2 times. This is in regular Lila, I'm telling, not Gaur Lila. Gaur Lila again, there are two incidents at least, what we know of from Acharyas. So in regular pastime, he appeared in white and red, Sweta Varaha Kalpa in Swayambhu Manu. Swayambhu Manu, that we're about to start discussing, I think, in the morning temple channel, we are describing. We're almost about four Kumaras, creation of four Kumaras done, and we're discussing about to come this pastime. Varahadev. Next chapter is Varahadev only. There, basically, it will be described when Swayambhu Manu, Lord Brahma told Swayambhu Manu, now you have to increase the progeny. And nobody couldn't increase. He was very obedient son. No, nobody did like Swayambhu Manu did. Swayambhu Manu exactly followed. Yes, I will do whatever you say. So he procreated, he expanded like anything. So that's why then that time, then when he asked, then he saw immediately Earth planet is not there. Earth planet has been taken down into all the way to below. Tala, Atala, Rasa, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahitala, Patala. This way there are below, including Earth and Bhu, 7 planetary systems are there. Above was 7, total 14 planetary systems. So the below, then this Earth was submerged into the Garbhodak ocean, below all the way, nether regions, Pluto region, or it is called, what is it, Rasatal, Patal, Rasatal, around that area, all the way down. That's where Earth was submerged into. It can be done. It's like a mystic perfection. So when Lord came, then Lord Brahma, then what to do? Swayambhu approached Lord Brahma and told, oh yes, then let me pray to the Lord. And then as he was thinking and praying to the Lord, then immediately from his nostrils, Lord Brahma's nostrils, Lord Varahadev appeared as a boar, small, teeny, from nostril, how much space is there? In that way, Lord appeared. But he then grew up like a gigantic, huge. And before that, there is a I think I don't exactly remember in both places. The white was in the Svetavara Kalpa and Swayambhu Manus. And the Chakshusha Manvantara, Lord Varahadev appeared again in the red color. That's why I remember, I think in some of the temples, there are temples in India, the Varahadev's deity is there. In some places, white one, some places, red one also is there. So anyway, Svetavara, so the white appeared, and then Lord Varahadev, because with his tusks, that is a duty, picking up the earth from the nether region all the way bottom, he immediately went down and then picked up earth, and then he brought it up where beautifully is explained. Vasati dasana sikare dharan tavalagna sesini kalanka kaleva nimagna केशवधृता सुकररूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे. Where it is explained, Vasati is residing. Kesava, it is what is it? Varahadev, where it is mentioned Kesavadruta Sukara Rupa. Sukara means boar or horn or Varaha. So many different names, but same. So Varahadev, what did he do? Immediately picked up the earth. Vasati Dasana Sikare. Sikare means top. Like on his tusks, he put the earth on his tusks. Dharani means earth. So he put his the earth on his tusks. Tava Lagna, he put on his top, Vasati means residing. And then it is looks like Sesini, means like a moon. Sesini Kalanka Kaleva Nimagna. So Just like in moon, if you look at, there is spots in the moon. Like that, when as soon as Lord picked up the earth sitting on his tusk, it looks like a spots. It looks like a Lord has spot, like a moon has spot, like this. That's how it looks. That's how it is. This who has written Jaydev Goswami, I think. Yeah, Jaydev Goswami Gita Govinda is written. So he is nicely, poetically describing, praying these 10 different incarnations. Third verse is describing about Lord Varahadev, or Sukar Rupa, or Boar incarnation. So this is in the white. In the red one, it is specifically called out that mentioned that Hiranyaksha, this Jay Vijay, as I mentioned, came down because of four Kumara, that curse, and then came down is so naturally that's why they are in sequence also 6 and 7. It is a nice sequence they put. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is giving nice sequence basically. So the Varahadev in red incarnation Chikshusha mantra. Then Hiranyaksha was there. Hiranyaksha is the one who took. Before that, I forgot to mention. When Lord Varahadev as soon as picked up the earth and then put on his tusks, brought it up and put it in its place. Then he made, and Bhudevi, earth planet is Bhudevi. There is a goddess. There is a personality who is in charge of earth. Bhudevi. We see in Lord Ramachandra pastime also. Sita Devi goes down into the earth after he came back to Ayodhya. So Bhudevi, even Gauranga Mahaprabhu pastime also. Lord has three energies: Bhu Shakti, Nila Shakti, Sri Shakti. That's a Vishnu Priya, Lakshmi Priya, and then Mayapur. That Dham is itself is Niladevi. In this way, three energies are there. Three, much more explanation is there. Prabhupada also gives and other acharyas gives. Anyway, coming back to the so then Earth Bhudevi asked to marry, asked developed loving affection for the Lord. Then she married Varahadev, and then from their union, from their relationship, son was born. Who is the son? His name was Narakasur. Initially, he was not Narakasur. Initially, probably I don't know the exact same name or some other name was there. Initially, he was like a Brahmana. He was a very religious and everything. But by the association of this Bhaumasura, there is another person, another Asura. By that wrong association, he became like demon. Then he started taking, I think, even Aditi's earrings and so many things he did. Then so Lord had to fight. Then before that also, this yeah, that is one pastime that Bhaumasura, the Lord himself in Satyabhama, and Lord Krishna and Satyabhama, that pastime there he goes and kills this Bhaumasura, Narakasura, Bhaumasura. All those pastimes are there in Krishna book and Srimad Bhagavatam. That itself is another story. But this is how, this is the pastime. Lord Varahadev, Earth, Bhudevi married, and then son was born, Narakasur. That separate pastime, Lord Krishna. Lord Varahadev didn't kill, but Lord appeared again as Lord Krishna, and in that incarnation he killed specifically. That pastime is there. And then also when before the in the red incarnation, red Varahadev's appearance in Chikshusha mantra, Hiranyaksha, then he did a great penance. And Lord Brahma gave boons that he cannot be killed by this, that, so many things. He also mentioned animals, but he forgot to mention boar. Then Lord appeared as boar, and then he took up, and then while taking up itself, then before that, yeah, Hiranyaksha was on the seashore. By that time itself, all the demigods ran away and in fear because he was a great demon. They lost. And then Hiranyaksha was on the seashore, and then he saw Varunadev. He asked, "Come and fight with me." And he said, "No, no, I am very weak. I cannot fight with you. You are the greatest. You are the master." In that way, so then he left him. Then he said, "No, Lord Vishnu is there. Find him. Find. He is there. You fight with him." So that way, then he went on searching. Then he saw that Lord is there all the way bottom. Then he went down all the way. Then Lord didn't pay any attention. He was calling, "You demon, you this, that," so many things, all ill names. Hiranyaksha was calling to Varahadev. Then Varahadev didn't pay any attention. He went on up and then took his earth and then put it in its place. Then he was so ferocious, he became so angry that he didn't even listen and he took my earth. Give me back my earth. Hiranyaksha was asking. Then Lord Varaha, also Lord Brahma and all demigods told, no, don't wait. Once he becomes night time, then he will show all black magic he does. You better kill him you have only 1 hour. Then Lord immediately started fighting valiantly. Then he threw a mace. Then Lord, it couldn't touch the Lord. Then Lord hit with him. Then his mace is also gone now. The Hiranyakshas. At that time, then he used his own fist and fighting with Lord Varaha. Then Lord Varaha gave just with one fist. He punched on his face. Then immediately was blood came out from his mouth, and he was killed in that way. Hiranyaksha was killed. This whole pastime is there in the Canto 7, Prahlad Maharaj, where Yudhishthira Maharaj asking, I think, Narada Muni, how this, why Lord is impartial, partial or impartial. Parikshit Maharaj asking Sukadeva Goswami, then Sukadeva Goswami narrating this parallel of Yudhishthira Maharaj asking Narada Muni, how come Sisupal, he was so envious, how come Lord became, affectionate, how the Sisupal's, light came from his body and merged into Lord, all that. The whole first, second, third chapters are describing about this whole thing, about this Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakasipu, and the Hiranyakasipu becoming angry, being his brother being killed, and he became so envious of Lord. So that's how that enviousness started. That itself is happening. So, but we understand Varahadevi's appearance. Now, going back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila, there are two pastimes. So, since already 8:15, we try to conclude soon. So Varahadev appeared in Varahdev's appearance. So in basically the significance of Varahadev is picking up, the purpose of Varahadev's incarnation is picking up the earth from the nether region and putting in its orbit. Same way, so Varahadev, there are many. There is in Canto 5, in northern direction of, there are 7 islands, Jambu Dvipa. When we do the samskaras, we chant this mantra. Pradambade, Jambu Dvipe, all this we mentioned. So in that also the Jambu Dvipa is there. In that Jambu Dvipa northern direction, there is one of the Varsha. In that place, they specifically worship. If I took it, fifth canto Srimad Bhagavatam, fifth canto Srimad Bhagavatam, in the residents of Jambu Dvipa, verse number I think uh, uh, verse number almost I think yeah, verse number 35, 36, 34, yeah, I think 34, yeah, verse number 34 to all the way to 39, yeah. उत्तरेषु च कुरुषु भगवान् यज्ञ पुरुष कृत वराह रूप आस्ते तम तु देवी हैषा भू सह कुरुबीर अस्खलित भक्ति योगेन उपधावति इमां च परमां उपनिषदम् आवर्तयति आवर्तयति. Where translation, Sukadeva Goswami said, Dear King, the Supreme Lord in his born incarnation, who accepts all sacrificial offerings, lives in the northern part of Jambu Dvipa. There, in the tract of land known as Uttara Kuru Varsha, Mother Earth and all other inhabitants worship him with unfailing devotion service by repeatedly chanting the following Upanishadak mantra. There are almost 5-6 verses. I will not cover, but you can read 5:18, 34 to all the way till 39, 38. 35 to 38, those are four verses. So are the Upanishad mantras glorifying. And the last verse I'll read, describing about again. Pramatya daitam prativaranam mrude yomam rasaya jagat adi sukara कृत्वाग्रदंष्ट्रे निरगाद उदन्वतः क्रीडम इवेव प्रणतास्मितं विभुम इति. My Lord, as original boar within the universe, you fought and killed the great demon Hiranyaksha. Then you lifted me, the earth, from the Garbhodaka ocean on the end of your tusk, exactly as a sporting elephant plucks a lotus flower from the water. I bow down before you. So on Varaha appearance day, we can use this prayer. Nice verse. Those 5-6 verses 34 to 39. We can chant other than this Dasavatara Stotra also. So in this way, so Varahadev significance, going to Gaur Lila soon. So Varahadev significance is by praying to Lord Varahadev, basically he plucks up just like he picked up earth from the nether regions and brought it up, same way he can remove all the dirtiness from our heart, and he can transform our heart from material consciousness and put us back into our original spiritual consciousness completely, provided we sincerely worship him and engage in his service and offer prayers in that way. So that is a significant showing how we can remove all the hurdles and obstacles, come out from this staying in that mode of ignorance, especially. That is Varaha Devi's significance. Now the Gaur Lila, there are two pastimes. The exact verses I didn't have time. This is Chaitanya Bhagavat, as far as I remember. So two times Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or two times happened. First time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there doing performing Sankirtan, one day all of a sudden he said, then immediately thinking Varaha, Varaha, then he shouted like anything, like boar, Varaha. Then immediately came to the house of Murari Gupta and taking the form of Varahadev. Then he chanted some things, some mantras, and then he was in a ferocious form of Varaha. Then Murari Gupta was very much frightened. Uh, that is what has been explained here in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Rajlila Prabhupada is explaining the purport, 1049. Sri Murari Gupta Saka Primera Bandara Prabhura Hridaya Drave Suni Danya Andhra. Murari Gupta, the 21st branch of the tree of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was a storehouse of love of Godhead. His great humility, meekness melted the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the last line, last paragraph. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the house of Srivas Thakur in his Chaturbhuja Murti, Murari Gupta became his carrier in the form of Garuda. In that pastime of ecstasy of the Lord, then got up on his back. It was the desire of Murari Gupta to leave the body before the disappearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Is that? Yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But the Lord forbade him to do so. This is described in Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Kanda chapter 20. Oh, I didn't read this clearly. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day appeared in ecstasy of Varaha Murti, Murari Gupta offered him prayers. He was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra, and his staunch devotion is vividly described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 15th chapter, verse number 137 to 157. So that is Murari Gupta's pastimes. But here it is clearly mentioned Varaha Murti. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the form of Varaha and then he shouted like anything. And then in that way, then gradually we pacified. So Lord, remembering that pastime, he acted accordingly, because by understanding the Murari Gupta is Hanuman appearing in this Gaur Leela as Murari Gupta, and he is very his deity Ishtadev is Lord Ramachandra. So that is being described here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, because Mahaprabhu did Mahaprakash Leela. That time each devotee asked, what do you want? Show him the specific forms they are worshipping. They have the rasa according to Lord showed. So that is what is described. But another place, another pastime Acharyas give is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, no, Lord Varahadev appeared in Koladvip. In Navadvip, there are 9 islands. In one of the islands is Koladvip. For a Brahmana, Vasudev Vipra, I think same personality probably, Vasudev Vipra, the leper who became, who was a leper, and then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his mercy, and then all his thing he was cured and came back to his normal body. So that was the Vasudeva Brahmana was worshipping Lord. He was praying to the Lord, please appear, please show me your form. He was somehow or other very much inclined to worship the Lord in this Varahadeva's incarnation. Then he is praying sincerely. Then suddenly Lord Varahadev appeared. Even now the deity is there. I'll try to post, when I post this recording, I'll put that picture. I didn't have time to get that picture. So, but we'll get that. So that is the temple is still there. I think deity is there in Koladvip in Mayapur, Navadvip Dham, Koladvip. Varahadev appeared in that way also. These are the two pastimes. So that I think I will see next class from Chaitanya Bhagavat. I think few verses should be there. At least I know Murari Gupta's definitely that pastime few verses are described about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu transforming himself into Varahadev. And this is another pastime where Lord Varahadev appeared in. Well, this is in, I think, Satya Yuga. This Hiranyaksha pastime also happened in Satya Yuga, not now. Satya Yuga, it happened. This pastime, as boar incarnation, is from Satya Yuga. So, any questions? already 8:23. So let me see. Oops. Any questions? Anyone has comments, reflections? Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Any questions, comments? No questions? No question, no comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much for today's class. I like the Hare Krishna. Can you hear?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Prabhuji, you were explaining about that the water and that oil and one more thing, right? That example.
Yeah.
Please, can you just a little bit elaborate again, Prabhuji? I was my children were like screaming. Little part I heard and I stopped, but I liked it, so I just wanted to hear it again. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
The consciousness, one must, by performing the devotion service of hearing and chanting and associating with devotees, and then by drinking the nectar through oral reception, it must touch in the heart. Then by that gradual process, then then our consciousness, which is represented in the way, like when we see in the water our own image, then it looks moving. It is not fixed. Then when we look at in the oil, it looks hazy, or when we look at in the eyes, it is fixed. So in this way, sometimes moving, sometimes we are in mode of goodness, sometimes in mode of passion, sometimes ignorance, or it can be thought like so many. Our mind is always bringing so many things into forefront while chanting or while going through our day-to-day activities. Sometimes because too much is going on in life, so many things, sometimes it happens. It is like that, always, like when our consciousness is moving in that way. We're not able to see the Supreme Lord everywhere. We're not seeing everywhere Lord's hand in each and every action, whether it's positive or negative, whatever is happening. We're not able to see in that way. So that is the Uttamadhikari stage. So here, four Kumaras are instructing Prutu Maharaj by drinking the nectar of the Lord's pastimes and worshipping the deity Yogeshwara. Then gradually all this your consciousness will be purified to such an extent, all this moving and like the water, the oil, the haziness, all these conceptions will be removed. You will see everywhere Lord, completely all your conceptions will be purified. Drushta evatmanishwari, basically, and then you will be able to communicate with the Lord. You'll be able to see the form of the Lord. So that is at the higher stage, asakti and bhava stage. Gradually, so we'll be situated in mode of goodness, and gradually we'll go up to the Visuddha Sattva. So, but that requires this practice of worshipping in a more affectionate way, and then also hearing and chanting, and then trying to distribute it to the others. And then he gives the characteristics one must develop is non-violent, not blaspheming, criticizing others, and then one must make their life simple. So these are the 5-6 instructions. This is in Canto 4, chapter 22, I think 22, verse number 29 to onwards also. You can see Sanat Kumara speaking, said, then it continues almost 20-25 verses. But I condensed it and gave you the essence, and those 5 main key instructions for Kumaras are giving. Let me see if I missed anything. Those are the instructions. But let me see if anything I missed. We covered the 6 questions of what is being addressed in this chapter, how this chapter is categorized into 5 sections. Then I mentioned the 4 Kumaras, Chatussana, and then there are the Shanta Bhaktas, and then they are appeared as Kashinath, Lokanath, Srinath, and Ramanath, 4 Nathas. In Gaur Lila, 4 Kumaras appeared. They are also started they are Bhagavat Vidhi is stressed, and then they also started their own sampradaya preaching the mission of Lord Krishna, and they never become old, stay 4 to 5 years old, we discussed. And then we also discussed how Srila Prabhupada instructed Jayadvaita Maharaj as Kumaras, Narada Muni, all these are under Jiva Tattva, but empowered, Shaktyavesh Avatar. So differentiated clearly. Then he also mentioned that to Satswarup Maharaj, Lord can be only known by his mercy, as in the case of poor Kumaras. They felt sinful after cursing the doorkeepers. This was realized only after they became fully conscious of the Supreme Lord. As soon as they smelled that tulsi leaves with tulsi manjaris, touched with saffron particles, gandha. So that's how we should try to offer tulsi manjaris. On top of it, if we can mix, put the that what you call rose water and fresh gandha, we should take out while rubbing. Put instead of water, put the rose water, and then also put some saffron a little bit, and then that will nice color and nice smell will come, because that is also there. Out of 32 offenses, one of them is offering flowers which doesn't have fragrance, natural fragrance. So as much as in in the Western world, it's a little difficult, but if we try it, endeavor, we should be able to get some flowers which has natural, at least some fragrance, if not nothing. So that is what been described here. Then further, we also described about this flute, how because of flute sound, gopis are singing in Gopi Geet. They mentioned also like Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even four Kumaras are bewildered. They couldn't understand what exactly Lord is Lord meant by that specific tune and specific thing. They are telling to Yashodamai. Gopis are speaking to Yashodamai about that aspect. This is Rupa Goswami explaining in Vidagdha Madhav, and Nectar Devotion Prabhupada explains that. So that has been mentioned. Then how four Kumaras, how Nectar Devotion talks about also, we discussed that how liberated soul also attracted, how they became Shanta Bhaktas, because of only by in touch with, if they even Mayavadis come to the temple and take the darshan of the Lord and touch with pure devotee, then they can be transformed. But many times, most of the time, they don't come. They also, Prabhupada wrote one letter to them. Yeah, Mayavadi, they come, they don't even look at the deity. They don't come, first of all. Even if they come, they don't look at the deity. They think they're Maya. So that when they look at the deity and they also associate with pure devotee, then their desires can be removed and then they can be transformed into Shanta Bhaktas. That is the first stage. Brahmavadis or Mayavadis can be transformed in that way only. That is the only way that we described. Then four Kumaras hearing Srimad Bhagavata from the lips of Ananta Dev, unendingly speaking. And this is in Adi Lila chapter 5, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. This has been described. These four Kumaras constantly hearing. So that's why they started this whole sampradaya itself. So this is how, so we can clearly see. So that is the summary of today's 6th and 7th verse of four Kumaras and Varaha Dev's appearance, incarnations have been described. Any other questions, comments, reflections?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay, we'll end the session.